Hi everyone, and welcome to The Journey. This is a pilot show, and this is a show where we meet live with our up-and-coming artists right here in Perth, the stories, the songs, and the people behind. On the show today, we have Chelsea Elder. Chelsea, how you doing?
Good, thanks, Steve. How are you?
I'm good. So you're an up-and-coming artist here in Perth, but you
could say
weren't
that.
originally from Perth.
No,
Yeah.
I'm actually from Melbourne.
Yeah.
So I moved over here at the start of last year to study at WAPA to do the music artist course.
Nice.
You'd be surprised, there's actually not a lot of original music courses in Melbourne that incorporates performance as well. So when I heard about the course at WAPA, I was like,
Nice.
I need to do that.
That's the one you want to go to?
Yeah, and it's been so good.
Yeah.
Super good.
How about your musical journey? Where did music start for you? So I'm guessing in Melbourne as a...
Yeah. So I grew up in Blackburn North in the eastern suburbs of Melbourne. And I remember, I think I was about 4 years old.
Oh, very young.
Yeah. And we drove past a singing school. And I think I was just learning how to read at that time. And apparently I read out the sign to my parents and I was like, Mum, Dad, I want to go to that school. And they were both like, you're 4 years old, like you don't know how to sing. They don't have a musical bone in their body, so they were like, oh, that's ridiculous. But then I would not shut up about it. I'm like, I want to be a singer, I want to be a singer. Like I'd jam out to the Wiggles and I just knew I wanted to be a singer. And so then eventually Mum was like, oh, all right. So she called up the singing school and said, look, my daughter really wants to do singing lessons. I don't care if she can sing or not. I just wanted to have fun, and yeah, here we are now. So,
So, what age did you move to Perth?
how old was I? Yeah, 19. I think I just turned 19 when I moved over the start of last year.
Okay, so pretty recently.
Yeah.
And did you get in just before COVID got really bad as well?
Yes. So last year was very interesting for me because I just moved over, and I thought that my family would be able to visit, but I didn't get to see them for ages. But I did go back to Melbourne for a little bit during that COVID, when COVID got really bad. But yeah, this year it's been a bit better.
Yeah, and gig-wise as well, because
travel.
last year we couldn't play for a good couple of months.
Yeah, so this year, so much better. And it's so good to see like so many bands and other artists like getting out there, releasing stuff, and it's awesome.
So how about the differences between Melbourne and Perth? Like, what's the differences between the local music scenes?
Okay, I feel like, because a lot of my influence comes from jazz, neo-soul, that kind of vibe. I feel like that is a lot more popular in Melbourne, that kind of thing, whereas I feel like at the forefront of the music community here is very much indie rock. Like there's a lot of indie rock kind of stuff.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
And we love that. It's very much the thing here. But I do have to say, like, the Perth original music scene is probably more appreciated here. I feel like it's easier to get gigs for original music here. Probably because it's a smaller city. Whereas in Melbourne, like I found it really easy to get cover gigs, but not so much paid original stuff.
Yeah, okay.
Whereas here you can get paid to do your original music, which is like amazing. It's so good. Yeah.
And I guess with Perth as well, because it is such a small city, like everyone knows everyone as well. Because Melbourne's a bit more populated, a little bit bigger.
Yeah, a lot bigger.
And I guess with the higher population, there's a bit more demand for cover.
Yes,
gigs as well, whereas Perth,
exactly.
where our tight community, with how tight we are with the venues due to the size, I guess we have a little bit more of the local stuff going on. Like there's cover gigs here in Perth where you get like the corporate events, but from what I've heard before as well, that Perth is very local music, very arts kind of place.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah. So I've seen you play solo.
Yes.
But in recent times, and from the pictures I've seen on your socials and all that, you've got some band members behind you.
Yes.
Now. Yeah. Now this is like new. This is fresh.
Yeah, this is fresh off the press. So end of last year, I was wanting to get a band together. So my friend Ruz, one of my close friends who I was studying at WAPA with last year, he's the bassist, Russell Curita. And he is awesome. He's very good at like funk kind of stuff.
Nice.
And he's a singer-songwriter himself as well. So he can also sing. So he does backing vocals also. Then we've got Ethan French on keys. And throughout all of last year, I was always listening to Ethan's music on Spotify.
Nice.
I was actually, I was a fan. And then I built up the courage to ask him to be in my band, and he actually wanted to be in my band. And I was like, whoa, like, that's so cool. So he's awesome. Like, he writes his own stuff as well. He's really versatile. He really, like, works with a lot of different genres and, like, makes it all, like, kind of fuses stuff into, like, a pop kind of thing. It's very cool. And then we've got Will on drums. So he's also studying at WAPA. All these guys have or are studying at WAPA. So Will does jazz at WAPA, which is perfect because I have that influence. And he's the drummer, and he's really, really good. Got all the tight grooves going.
Yep.
And he is so good at, like, picking up on what I want. Because I don't know how to explain drum grooves. I'm just like, hey, can you do like a ba-da-da-da-da kind of thing? And he just gets it. So can't really go wrong.
I guess it's a it's almost its own unique language when you're talking to people who play different instruments.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Particularly with drums, because you're hitting cymbals and you're like, this bit goes like sort of here, but on a guitar you can actually sort of play like a melody, whereas with drums you sort of have to, I guess, sound it out in a way that's not maybe as musical as someone would think.
Because but I've already learnt, like, so much from him, just like talking to him about the grooves. Like, I know what a bossa groove sounds like now. I know what a disco groove is, a shuffle groove. Apparently a lot of my songs have like a shuffle kind of lope to them.
Yeah, I can hear that when I've heard you play solo before. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
I didn't know that until this year. So
so I guess you could say that forming a band has actually taught you and broadened your horizons a bit more as a songwriter and just understanding music as well.
Yeah, 100%. Like, now when I sit down and write, I don't just think about me playing the guitar and singing. I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I have a band now. I can actually all these
elements.
Yeah. It's so cool. I can kind of almost write a little bit more simply because I know that they'll be able to bring something to life.
So how's like the transition between like playing solo and now this new experience playing with a band? Like, is it like, do you change the way you write now?
Yeah, I'd say so, definitely. Because initially the way I wrote, it very, very guitar based, and I was always filling in the gaps with my guitar. Whereas now I am writing just that little bit more simply, and I kind of just go, okay, well, I need to come up with chords and a melody, but I don't necessarily have to think about every single part I'm playing yet, because now I've got a keys player that can fill in those gaps.
Yeah.
And a bass player. I don't need to highlight the bass notes as much. You know, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I get what you mean. So like, as like the bass players playing like the lower register, and in keyboards, you know, playing, well, they can play in both registers. There's less, I guess what you'd call involvement in your guitar, having to add bass notes and runs, because now you can just focus on like your chord, like your rhythm part, without having to make awkward shapes to include bass notes.
Yeah, exactly.
So what drew you to guitar as your main instrument?
So I started playing guitar when I was about 8, I think. But I didn't really get super into it until I was about 11 or 12, because I was very much like focused on the singing. I also played drums and keyboard for a while, but I ended up going, no, I just need to like focus on one instrument. So yeah, I was playing guitar. I think the first song I learnt that actually got me like kind of good was Blackbird by the Beatles, which is like so cliche, but that's literally what helped me to really step up my game. So I actually played a lot of folky stuff when I was growing up, and it wasn't until high school I started getting into the more jazzy chords, the more complex stuff, because I played in jazz band at school, and I played trombone in the jazz band as well. So that's what kind of got me into the jazzy chords, and I haven't really looked back since, because they're just so fun to play, and there's just so much you can explore with it.
Well, when you were saying folk stuff, and then I was trying to think of like the last time I seen you play, I was like, I seen you playing a lot of major seventh chords. You never see that in folk. But
I know. So I I kind of changed my sound a lot, like compared to what I used to do. But I do think that the way I sing still kind of has a bit of a folk sound to it sometimes.
Yeah, I could agree with that.
Yeah, but I'm trying to bring back a little bit of that folk influence into my stuff as well now. So it's kind of a bit of both. It's nice to be able to like play with lots of different things.
True. Yeah. How about current releases? Do you have anything released like as a soloist?
No, not yet, but I am releasing my first single on June 25th.
Ooh, very close. That's a month and a week and a bit.
Yeah. And I am so excited for that. Ethan is actually producing it, my keys player.
Nice.
Ethan French. So that'll be amazing. He's doing such a good job. But do you want to hear about what the song's about?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so it's actually called Don't Listen to This.
Okay.
Yeah, but I do want people to listen. See, that's the trick. It's kind of like clickbait. Like people will see it and be like, oh my God,
reverse
that's
psychology.
forbidden. Yeah,
nice.
exactly.
I like it.
But what it's about is writing a song about someone, but you don't want them to hear it. Because I write songs about people all the time, and if they found out that they were about them, I think they'd be a bit weirded out. I don't know. But I don't know. But like songwriters write songs about people all the time.
Yeah, I guess it depends the topic of the song that you're writing about them. Is it a song where you've like, whacked someone and you've hid the body? Or is it one where you're expressing love and the person's like, ooh, I didn't know this person felt that way?
Yeah, that's what Don't Listen to This is about. It's all about like, I guess, a friendship, a really good friendship, but like you don't want to ruin it by expressing like the feelings you have, and you just don't know if they feel the same way, and it's just like so in the song I'm basically saying I've written this song because I love you and I have feelings for you, but I don't want you to listen to this because I'm scared about what you might say, but at the same time I do want you to listen because I want to know.
Yeah, I think everyone experiences this at some point in their 100%. Life. Like it's just human nature to be worried about what the reaction's going to be if you tell someone how you really feel.
Exactly.
So, but they always say, it's better to know than not know.
Yeah. So, exactly.
So, how about band stuff? Is there any band launch coming up?
Yes.
Yeah. I've seen it on poster, but I'll leave it to you to explain.
Yeah, so we are having a band launch at Lyrics Underground on Sunday, May 30th. Doors open at 5 p.m. and music starts from 5:30. So we've got the amazing Anna Schneider and band playing. Do you know Anna Schneider?
I do.
She is amazing. She's got a beautiful kind of folk thing with her music, and she's a wonderful storyteller, beautiful voice, just incredible. And she's got a band together now too.
Oh, does she?
Yeah. So she'll be playing with her band, so that'll be so good.
Yeah.
And then we've got, after Anna, we have Ken Paolo and the Space Cadets, and they are so awesome. Like Ken's got a real R&B kind of vibe. His voice is super soulful, and he's got these like amazing BVs as well, and it's just like a full-on vibe. They're really great. And then we've got Nectar, the band. Have you heard of Nectar?
I have heard of Nectar, yes.
Yeah. So they're also really cool. I think they're more indie, but they've kind of got like a soul influence too. They've also got a saxophone as well. Nice. They're really, really cool. I actually haven't seen them play live before, so I'm super keen to see them at the launch.
Nice. That'd be an experience having a band play which you haven't heard before. Like usually people always like pick their friends and stuff, but have you gone more like a stylistic kind of approach where you want a broader
I guess so,
mix? Because
I do know the drummer Jack Donnelly. He's in the band. He goes to Whopper as well. All these people are from Whopper. But I've just seen like their clips online and stuff, and I've been like, damn, like I really dig that. So yeah, it should be really good.
Nice. How about socials? Where can we find your music and all of your pages?
So Chelsea Elder Music. That's all you need to look up. Elder, like an elderly person. That's what I say to help people
that's right.
remember.
I'm older than you, so.
Oh yeah, true.
So,
it's all just Chelsea Elder Music on Instagram, Facebook. Yep.
Cool. And one thing I like to ask everyone that come in is, what's like a story that you can share with us that's like one of your favourites?
One of my favourite stories. Oh, there's lots. There's lots. It depends on what kind of story. I did have a funny story last night at a gig, if you want to hear about that.
Sure.
Yeah. So last night I was playing at El Grotto with the boys, and I was about to introduce a song, and I was like, okay, so this is another original of mine. It's called... And then my guitar just like fell, and it just fell on the stage.
Is this your electric?
Yeah, my Epiphone Casino, because the strap had just like dropped off. Yep. And I was like, oh. So I quickly picked up the guitar and I was like, okay, everybody, that's it for tonight. Thank you for listening. That was our song, The Fall of the Guitar.
Was there any damage?
No.
Oh, thank God.
I played it this morning and it's okay. But everyone just laughed, and it was very funny. But I think I need to get something called
a
strap lock.
Yep.
But I didn't actually know that was a thing, because I usually would... Like last year, I think when you saw me play gigs, I would always just play my acoustic, which is obviously like kind of lighter. So yeah, I think I need to look into some strap locks.
Yeah, I remember seeing your electric when you did the LATV performance last year.
Oh yeah, I just bought it then.
It was really new.
Yeah, that was an impulse buy.
Yeah.
I literally just went to was it Sound Centre? I can't remember where I got it, but I went with Ruz, my bassist, and we were just looking at stuff, and then I just sat down with this guitar and I was like, oh yeah, I need that.
It's funny that I get the feeling that the guitar chooses its player.
Yes, as cliche as it sounds, it's true.
Yeah, it's like in Harry Potter, the wand chooses the wizard, Mr. Potter. I think the guitar chooses its player as well.
I think so too.
It was the same with my acoustic when I bought mine. I tied some which were like $3,000 on the shelf. The one I ended up picking was about $1,000 less.
Really?
And wasn't like as high end as the others, but just how it felt to me was just a lot more comfortable.
Yeah. So, there you go.
Well, I want to say thanks so much for coming in and joining me on this episode of The Journey as its pilot, the first one. You're the first one to be on.
Oh my God, really?
So, yeah.
That's so cool. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for having me. It's been so much fun chatting.
Absolutely. So you've been on the journey with the lovely Chelsea Elder. Tune in next week for the next artist. You're with Steve. I'll see you next time.
See ya.